Okay, yeah.
All right, welcome to the City of West Tawakoni's Planning and Zoning Commission meeting on April the 2nd. We will get started with item number 1, Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I will call the meeting to order at 7:02. Start with attendance.
Krista Woodruff,
Chris Bonowitz,
Caleb Gilbert.
Cecilia Urban, Teresa Sparks.
Robert Gilbert.
All right, Lee Bledsoe is absent. Moving on to item number 4, public hearing. We have a motion to open a public hearing.
I make a motion.
Who wants to take that?
She can do it.
All right, Teresa, motion by Teresa to open public hearing.
Second that.
Second by Robert. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. We are now in public hearing at 7:03. Item number 1, consideration and recommendation to the City Council of item A, zoning map amendment, an amendment to the official zoning map to reclassify 2 parcels currently zoned manufactured home subdivision district to general commercial CG district, consistent with the city's comprehensive plan and future land use map. Item I, parcel 1, A1120 Wilson Jackson, tract 17-3, containing 14.44 acres, located on Mays Lane, West Tawakoni, Texas 75474, and parcel 2, A1120 Wilson Jackson, tract 17-1, containing 1.99 acres, located at 500 Mays Lane, West Tawakoni, Texas 75474. The properties are situated in Hunt County, Texas. Is there any public comments on item 1? All right, moving on to item number 2, consideration and recommendation to the City Council of a text amendment to the zoning ordinance, an amendment to Article 14.300 and related district regulations to revise interior side yard setback requirements within the adopted zoning ordinance standards. Anybody in the public? All right, since nobody's here. Item number 3, consideration and recommendation to the City Council of a site plan for property ID number 101884 located at 140 West Highway 276, West Tawakoni, Texas. Legal description A0418. Hassel Zachariah, tract 6-1, zone commercial C, owned by Philip Anapoulos. Okay. Any public comments on item number 3? All right, well, that's all items. We'll move on to item number 5, discussion or action to close public hearing. Anybody have a motion to close, any discussion or motion?
I'll motion to close. Do we have a option of when he does arrive to go back to it or anything?
We can discuss it on the agenda item.
Yeah, it's on the agenda also.
All right, so we have a motion by Robert to close public hearing, second by Chris. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Public hearing is closed at 7:05. We'll call the regular session to order at 7:05. Item number 7, citizens input related to agenda items, 3 minutes time limits. We have no citizens. Item number 8, new business. Item number 1, discussion and or action to recommend or deny to the City Council. Item A, zoning map amendment. An amendment to the official zoning map to reclassify 2 parcels currently zoned manufactured home subdivision MH district to general commercial CG district, consistent with the city's comprehensive plan and future land use map. Parcel 1, A1120 Wilson Jackson, tract 17-3, containing 14.44 acres, located on Mays Lane, West Tawakoni, Texas 75474. And parcel number 2, A1120 Wilson Jackson, tract 17-1, containing 1.99 acres, located at 500 Mays Lane, West Tawakoni, Texas 75474. The properties are situated in Hunt County. All right, you're up.
How y'all doing?
Good.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk around just so I can show y'all the 2 properties that are in discussion. There's this long one right here, and a little short one right before it takes an L on the city limits. Ooh, y'all are backwards from what I was just at over there. These 2, sorry. Map's turned around. So those are the 2 properties. This is a very simple situation of in between, I think, version 3 and version 4 of the maps that we were reviewing 3 months ago. those two parcels somehow got switched, and even though we made it all the way to version 7, none of us. So this is in alignment with the discussions that we've had. We're just fixing this error to get them to commercial like we had originally wanted along Maze Lane, in alignment with the future land use map that y'all adopted previously. I can answer any questions on it, but I believe it's pretty cut and dry. So y'all ask me anything if y'all have anything.
Is there any discussion on item number 1?
No.
We have a motion.
No, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So it's gonna get moved from mobile homes to commercial buildings.
Yes, sir.
Did we ever have a discussion about homes there?
Whenever we started the future land use map discussions, that was end of 2024, I believe, early 2025, we had designated it as commercial on the future land use map. So then when we started having zoning related discussions, we went ahead and copied the same idea over on this map as well. If you remember in the comprehensive plan that was done by Jacob Martin and us, that was one of the main thoroughfares through town on y'all's future thoroughfare plan. So from a land use standpoint, commercial is the best use of the land. However, that being said, zoning is a long process, so I see what happens.
Well, I'd like to. Commercial sounds fine. That's all I had to ask.
Is there a motion?
I motion to approve the correction.
We have a motion by Teresa to recommend to the city council to approve.
I'll second that.
Second by Cecilia. All in favor? Motion carries unanimous. Item number 2, discussion and or action to recommend or deny to the city council a text amendment to the zoning ordinance and amendment to Article 14.300 and related district regulations to revise interior side yard setback requirements within the adopted zoning ordinance standards.
This was another, I wouldn't necessarily call this an error. We had sent Bureau Veritas over the ordinance once it was adopted. They realized that there was a difference in between what we adopted in the subdivision regulations and what was adopted in the zoning ordinance. This is something that the city could choose to leave that way, so they can be stricter if somebody's subdividing versus if they're just building on their own lot. However, it was decided and reached out to me that we want to keep it consistent throughout all documents to keep confusion at a minimum. So if you just flipped the back of one of the lovely packets in front of you, the very back of it really shows what's been changed. So if you look at SF 7.5, SF 10, and SF 12, what we've done is we've switched SF 7.5 from 8 to 10 feet on the side yard, SF 10 from 9 to 10 feet on the side yard, and SF 12 from 10 to 15 on the side yard. And then the rest of the packet is where you can see those in-text amendments changed for each article in which this is being used.
Where is this at?
Oh, this is just all throughout the entire city.
And so this.
No, I'm wondering where the paper is.
Which one do you have in your hand?
Article 11 paper.
Yeah, this one.
Okay, I don't have one.
Do you have one? No. I think there was one for map.
So you're saying our subdivision regulations say 10 foot?
Yes.
Cecilia needs one.
Yes.
And so the decision to go from 8 to 10, what did that decision make? No, it's just,
The whole garage thing set back in the parking, I think we talked this.
well, these are side yard setbacks.
Oh,
So this is going from 16 foot between houses to 20 foot between houses on 70 foot wide lots. That's the change. So that would leave a 50 foot building pad. Correct.
That's if they built to the minimum width. That's just a minimum lot width.
Oh, this
They
is-
can go larger if they choose to.
Right. So they're required to have a 10 foot setback.
Yes.
So that means the maximum pad that they can have is 50 foot wide on a 70 foot wide lot. Because these are 70 foot wide lots.
Yes, correct.
10 foot side yard, so a 50 foot wide lot. Or a building pad. So,
You went with the greater of the
Yeah.
two. We have two different charts and they say
Sure.
two different things. One of them says 8.
Yeah, so the original zoning ordinance is at 8. Well, 8, 9, and 10. the subdivision ordinance was at 10-10-15. And so, like I said, some cities choose to make your zoning ordinance stricter because if you're building on a lot, typically there's less development going on there, so they'll make them more reduced. Versus if you're building and subdividing, you want to be stricter to, of course, proper fire setbacks, fire code, et cetera, et cetera. It was just, my understanding was the city chose to make them the same across the board and choose to go with the greater. And so that's the edit that you're seeing in front of you right now.
They're trying to remove the ability for somebody to say, you have two different ones, I should get picked.
Yeah.
So moving forward today, we would have 20 foot between houses. That's where we're getting for the smaller lots, and then 30 foot between houses on the larger SF12s.
Nice.
I'm good with that.
Any discussion?
I agree.
Is there a motion?
I'll motion.
What's your motion? What's your motion?
To agree to pass this.
All right, so we have a motion by Robert to recommend approval to city council.
I second.
Second by Crystal, all in favor?
Right.
Motion carries unanimous.
Thank you, Board.
Item 3, discussion and or action to recommend or deny to the city council the approving this, the site plan for property ID 101884 located at 140 West Highway 276, West Tawakoni, Texas. Legal description A0418, Haskell Zachariah, track 6-1, zone commercial, C, owned by Philip Anopoulos. So anybody for the applicant? You're the
Yes,
applicant?
I guess that's me. I thought I was here for moral support, but I'll answer any questions I
He
can.
actually said you were coming.
Well, I'm here.
Tell you
Okay.
that.
Wouldn't know, ma'am. He did not. What could I answer? You tell me what you need to know and I'll do the best I can.
Do we have a site plan?
Well, it's in this package, but
Yeah, this.
I gotta tell you, the site plan's not legible, so I guess.
Is it not? Okay.
If you can kind of describe what's going on here.
Yeah, I can. Can I borrow yours? Okay, so I did see this part of it, and I'm sorry. I'm a little bit unprepared. This is 276, and here's the side note. So the initial plan is to make the main entrance on 276 on the west corner of the property, and potentially have another entrance on the side road, and then where your setbacks are, your building setbacks, have another distant entrance and egress on the back road of that property. The property is surrounded by 276, and I don't know that road.
This is Carlson
It's
here.
Harrelson
I think
and
it's Shirley, right?
Shirley, I was thinking Sheila.
Shirley, yeah, the one on the, so it's got 3 road frontages, with the west being the westbound property. So the main entrance here as far west as TxDOT will allow us to move it. And then these other 2 are just mainly for residual traffic. Because potentially this could be a difficult place to come and go. And then the building on the back side, the lot, I don't have my glasses, I just realized I forgot. We have a 10-foot setback and a 15-foot build line, I believe, for a 25-foot area there between the property line and the building. And that's the reason for this driveway here. The building itself will be 50-foot wide and 175-foot long, with 7 potential tenant spaces inside that building. Each tenant space will have a man door, a storefront window, and a panel door. They'll be 25-foot wide by 50-foot deep.
So this is one building with 7 bays.
Yes, ma'am. Simplified, yes, ma'am.
So, and these are fronting the highway and not fronting,
Yeah, they're gonna front the highway. The gray box in the bottom left corner is potential future build out for additional retail in the future. If this all goes good, he's looking at more tenant space on the corner.
these are gonna build the suite warehouses.
okay.
So what's the blue and the yellow in the back?
Office.
Potential offices, potential bathroom.
Pretty much just a shop with a potential office in the back.
And
So
initially it's
similar
gonna
to
be one.
what's the Hoyt building then, right there at the corner.
Mhm.
It's basically what you're proposing, right? Like the Hoyt air supply company right there at the other corner. That's generally what they're proposing? They look at it as the office, the garage.
My understanding, it's more like these ones that are being built all over right now, like you go down 34, even right there at 270.
Yeah, so like leaving Quinlan.
Big
Okay.
building that's got the different, that's my understanding of more work.
Right. Initially, this will be one big room, will be 50 by 175. If a potential tenant wants 25 feet, then they will build an interior wall in between those two. If they want 50 feet, they'll make a 50-foot suite versus
And
a
he
25-foot
does
suite.
all under the old zoning verified highway.
Like commercial zoning?
Yeah, he'll still fall under our old zoning, not the new.
So what are you gonna build them out of? What's it?
There'll be steel structures, steel with metal facade, sheet metal. It'll be a hard metal building. It'll be a metal building.
So we don't have any code for any kind of veneer front or
Our old-
stone front?
We can't restrict other materials.
That's the state law prevents building material regulations. So, what about parking?
That's what all the area is, all out in the front here. Will be parking lot, the remainder.
And there'll be concrete?
Concrete or gravel, gravel up front unless there is a city ordinance requiring, concrete or asphalt.
I have to look at the old one to tell you 100% on that. The new one, which you do not fall under, but the new one does require that it be an improved surface.
Okay. And then he's willing to do whatever we need to do, but for initially, we're looking at just putting right in front concrete and then whatever we have to do out here.
So my concern with this piece of property is it sits in a hole right now. And it's like, it's floods.
Correct.
So when you bring in dirt to fill this up,
Mhm.
where's all that water going with all these residential houses
They
behind it?
still have to provide civil plans to take up the mark. You'll have to review that will have to have drainage.
The engineer, you know his name. He works with the city quite often.
Is it Samir?
And so this,
Oh, no, I do, I remember. It's MTJ,
So
MTG.
they're big storage buildings.
I would say they're probably like
There is an
similar to your
engineer.
office.
Yeah, big storage building.
They said they could have those types of.
Flex space is the
Yeah, they're
technical
built to
terminology.
suit, so when they rent it out, somebody's gonna
So-
do what they would like.
But you just said there's gonna be a walk-through door and an overhead door.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Shannon, do we have a requirement for any kind of, trees to be replaced or anything on this property?
Our new zoning does. I don't recall seeing it in the old zoning, but that does not mean it's not there.
That's right.
Remember, that is,
I don't know
I
if
have like a 4-inch thick book.
Yeah, it's
so there's
usually
some things
so
I just
many
forget.
feet, so
Yeah, I have
they
to look
trees.
at
But to answer your question, I'm waiting on topography to know what, because the topography and the engineer will tell me where I send the water, the drainage, whatever your city specs are, and it will elevate the property and like the drainage, whatever.
There is a large engineer company working on that that we have dealt with in the past.
So,
Uh,
I was gonna ask about, before there was a problem with storage units there, right?
Mhm.
So they were doing minis. they were
Yeah.
basically
Mini
doing-
storage, not
storage.
commercial.
So
Because-
you can actually use these for large storage. I mean, it has no storefront, it has an overhead door and a walk-through door, so it's essentially it's a big
But it would
storage
not be
unit.
a permitted use, right? I mean, even if they built it that way, they can't use it for that because it's not permitted use.
Right, it can't be-
The rental
it's
rate will
like mini
prevent it
storage
from
buildings.
being,
Okay, yeah.
the rental rate will prevent it from being.
The city would have the authority to stop it if they chose, if they did that
I
somewhere.
mean, I think it'd be great to have storefronts there
So
and
not
commercial
only-
buildings, I think it'd be awesome. But to have big
Well, it could be
storage,
an air conditioning shop,
or mechanic shop, oil
Mechanic
change,
shop,
something
it
like
could be a
that,
window-
that'd be great.
both.
It would
My,
have to
my
fall
concern
under
is this
the
is just a way to get around.
Right, and in terms of the use of
At
the
$8 to $10 a square foot.
It would have to, not only would
Yeah,
Financially, it won't be
it's
a
more
story.
facility, though.
Shannon's trying to tell us.
not
something.
only would the main building have to be CO'd, but each individual business that went in there would have to get their own CO also.
The only concern I have is this egress right in and out, is that required on the left side of it?
We were just trying to make the most use of the space and maybe help prevent some congestion out in the front.
Well, my concern is it's going right into a neighborhood street right there.
Okay.
I mean, I'm concerned enough with this one, but that's another one behind it.
That was my concern too, and we've already had residents on that road voice their concerns about that connection.
Mhm.
If y'all would be willing to remove that connection, just keep these two. I think that's what we talked to them about originally, is using Highway 276 as your main entrance and then Harrelson as your secondary point of access.
And
That way it keeps, you
This
have
is
the commercial
probably-
traffic off of.
And I agree, and what I looked at that was more from a tenant perspective, maybe they're bringing a trailer in, or maybe they need to get out of the way and not necessarily using it for a primary entrance, as a secondary entrance, because we do have that 25 foot that's just dead. At least that way it would have some kind of functionality, but in the event that that's what you guys require, I'm sure it's not gonna be a problem.
And they have to have a privacy fence to divide it from the residential area, and
Right.
that back would, I would think, still be considered residential, I would think.
That was my next question, is the screening requirements. Because then,
You'll definitely have to have it down the side,
Down the west side.
and I think he would have to have it on the back side, but I could be wrong on that. With there being a street there and not houses up against it, I could be wrong.
And I would question that one. The one on the west, I agree with you. The one on the back, that's
I
a
question it
question.
myself, so.
I like the mention of landscaping,
Mhm.
so like on that facing the homes behind it, you could grow some bushy stuff there that people would love, and out in front of it, make it look nice.
I'm game for it all. So, and it really, whatever you guys, whatever the ordinances require, he's more than willing to work with those and do whatever it
He is
takes.
definitely trying to do everything that we ask. And I do believe, in conversation with him, I do believe that he wants this to look very nice.
Yeah, he's young and this is his
We've
footprint to try to get into.
made him before. And actually, he's kind of doing what we asked him to do. Put in some,
so I like the use. That's really my biggest thing, is I don't like the connection to the residential.
And again, it's not a deal breaker by any means, but it was just a functionality trait. It added a positive functionality.
And you can motion to
Yeah.
recommend, with the exception of you want that to not be on there. The removal of the rear.
So after this, what is the next step?
He goes to council.
No, after
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 this,
site plans approved,
then
then
they
what?
send me site plans. Their site plans will go to Jacob and Martin. So they put a deposit up for that review. And Jacob and Martin will work out of that deposit. And until Jacob and Martin approve those plans, they cannot proceed and they do not get a civil permit. Once Jacob and Martin approve the plans, then we'll have a construction meeting and they can have a permit.
Okay.
For the civil.
And so is Jacob and Martin reviewing against our subdivision regulations?
They do.
Okay.
They look at all of it.
So they're reviewing for any kind of landscaping or tree requirements?
So this is just, what,
I
just to
believe
gauge
so.
our
If
opinion?
not, we will. I'll check the landscaping to double check that, but I think they do. I know they check all of the infrastructure, whatever concrete, stuff like that, the requirements to make sure they meet all requirements. They'll, setbacks and drainage. So they'll check the text dot drainage. They'll check all of that. But we're dealing with that right here.
Because they'll actually have to tell us, do they want a 4-inch sewer line, do they want a 6-inch sewer line to connect to y'all's line? They're gonna tell us. They're gonna tell her to tell us what we're gonna do for y'all.
where to dump the water,
Yeah.
or store the water, or.
Store the water.
There's no dumping
No,
water.
they're
except-
It's
gonna
the
come up
water.
with where it goes, and
Yeah.
Jacob and Martin's gonna say this works or it doesn't, come up with a different plan.
And then I'm gonna make it.
Like, they'll say you need a retention, you're gonna have to put in a retention, or, whatever it meets, they'll actually, I can set up meetings if we have to with him and Jacob and Martin.
We just don't wanna flood anybody out, so. And that, right now, that is retention fund,
Mhm.
pretty much.
Swamp.
And before it's over, they have to have a final grade survey too. So,
Any other discussion, questions?
I don't know but in the old book, if the commercial was separated from residential, but when I built my house 8 years ago, I had to replace 3 trees when we put our house in.
As long as somebody's gonna be looking at it, they're gonna
I'm
have to
gonna
look at it,
double
then we'll have it. Is this the last time we're gonna see this? So any recommendations or anything we have for council is gonna happen tonight?
So you got 3 trees on the 8th, or on the Sabine River or the city.
City. That one I went on Sabine and it's still there growing good.
I have a feeling it's, gonna be a job well done. I like the idea. Bringing commercial work to
Yeah.
our city is a good
Storefront, yeah, I think it's.
And it will all be dependent upon, you know, civils being approved. Once the civils are approved and they start the civils, they can't even start going vertical until the horizontal's done. So,
We have to do all the underground. 85% of the topography has to be set.
yep, and then we can start looking at the buildings, which they'll go through to Jacob and Martin, not Jacob and Martin, sorry. Bureau Veritas for plan review. They'll have to meet all the 2018 codes, and we've added the 2021 in NFPA codes also. So whichever of the two is stricter.
And I'm working with Blaine Veritas and Ladonia and Collins currently, so I'm familiar with their process.
And then the future, you thinking if this does well, you could put another one up front? Basically, that would, that's what I'm
Well,
saying.
that's if this does well, there's also a potential for growth up to the front there on the corner of the street. And that's one of the reasons we're trying to move that entrance as far west on 276 as we can. Because one of the things we're gonna do is I've already started working with Farmers Electric to move that guy wire. And and TxDOT's given me a verbal approval to push that, entrance as far west as possible.
I think there was in that packet, the text stuff is in there.
I saw the application. It didn't have the attachment though.
It's been approved. We haven't acted on it yet.
So this district approved it without a engineering drawings?
The entrance?
Yeah.
They bless all the state right away.
No, I know that. It's just most districts require engineering plans to approve, but it's interesting.
I had to do a traffic study of all towns. So,
Any other discussion?
No, I like it. As long as we don't flood anybody out. I think it's something.
So we want to make a motion just to remove that driveway to the residential and then approve, subject to Jacob and Martin's approvals, or review and approvals. That sound good to you guys, or you want to change that up?
Okay. That sounds good to me. I didn't know if we were gonna make a suggestion of that, or if we're gonna remove it.
I'm gonna check it to see if it's required.
Well, it would be only,
Landscaping.
Should not be. Landscaping.
it would ultimately be up to city council, but what we're doing is just recommending.
Mhm.
So we need to recommend something to the
So
city
the
council.
room on between the houses and the north side of the building there, we're talking about a road that went behind it.
There's, yeah,
Right.
Shirley Drive is here, and then there's houses that front. Shirley Drive. Or I don't know if they fronted or sided or.
If I remember correct, then we decided that we prefer not to have
An entrance there.
I agree, because people want to go out there and like have coffee and a smoke.
Well, and then you have kids playing in the neighborhoods, and you don't want commercial traffic going through it. That's
right. Well, and I agree. And whenever I seen the site the first time, I'm looking at, it's a small site and trying to get the most bang for the buck out of it. I'm functional.
Okay, so I make a motion that we approve this with the removal of the west
the Shirley Drive.
Shirley Drive entrance and exit, and approval with the engineer plans as well.
We have a motion by Teresa to recommend for approval, subject to the removal of the Shirley Drive ingress, egress, and the proper review of engineering plans by Jacob and Martin to city council. We have a second?
Second.
Second by Chris. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous.
I apologize for not being prepared. I was caught a little off guard.
We look forward to having you in the city.
Yeah, he told me, I think, last week you were gonna do something.
Oh, I told him I was going to win. But it's fine. It's
You gotta
fine.
communicate by yourself.
Oh, no, it's no big deal.
I'll get with him on
Okay.
Monday.
Well, and not that, here's some of my cards in the event that you have any
I
questions.
think I have one, but can I have one of those?
You can have them all, dear.
I think it really drives store for a storefront.
So, So if at any point in time while we're working on the project, if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call. I mean, it's not top secret. We want to do whatever we can to make it easier and better for everybody.
Okay, great.
Sounds good, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, young lady.
Thank you.
All right, item number 9. Discussion and or action to approve or deny planning and zoning minutes for November 6th, 2025. Does anybody remember what we discussed?
I wasn't here.
I read it.
I think that was where we motioned to,
It is where there's the zoning ordinance and
Yes.
subdivision regulations, so.
For council to approve them and adopt in December. I think that's what they are, right? Maybe.
That is what's on here, so
It's been a minute.
yeah,
from what I remember, I think it's right.
looks right. to
All
me.
right. We have a motion.
I make a motion that we accept the November 6th, 2025 planning and zoning minutes.
We have a motion by Cecilia to approve. Second.
I second it.
A second by Teresa. All in favor?
Aye.
Nice.
Motion carries unanimous. Item number 10, citizens input related to non-agenda items.
Not that we can make decisions today,
Yep.
but I would like to be able to, if we needed it, have a special session, we all think about it, and think about the right council to do it if we need it, the second one in the month.
Sure.
It's completely up to y'all. I can put it on the next agenda we have to discuss, but
So you're saying that you just want the option to schedule specials?
on the option,
I mean,
but we can't make a decision.
because, I
Because
mean,
it's
I
not
think
on
it
there.
needs to be there anyways, just because the state laws are kind of restrict us how we have
Yes,
to set
and
up.
sometimes it kicks us out a long ways, you know, where sometimes publications make it hard to meet those
Right.
deadlines, but sometimes I might be able to, or if we had a deal where, hey, somebody, like, he needed to come talk to you all about something, it gives me that option.
Okay.
So, if y'all wanna think about it, I'll put it on the next agenda that we have to make a decision on.
Okay. Well, we're the only citizens here now, so if you all have anything to add or discuss?
I'm just totally concerned about all the testing stuff and how we regulate all that and who gets the report and who is doing quality control and quality assurance on all this.
To me, and then just straight to BB.
And then they go to who? They're the final approval. We don't have a city, I know we don't have a city engineer or anything like that, so wherever they
So,
approve, we don't have any
what would you say,
oversight.
BV?
You're very welcome.
So they're the testing company well, they're the ones that are inspecting everything for compliance with our codes, correct?
Yes, but they're not the ones that do that.
Right, exactly.
They have to hire one of the companies. They have to hire.
So the contractor hires their own company and it goes to the people that we,
At the moment.
and our city inspectors do, what do they do?
We don't
I mean, I
have,
see
we don't
code
have-
compliance, I see code compliance driving around town, so normally in any other city, code compliance would be, checking code, making sure they're doing.
I think code compliance does like housing code or yard code, not building code, right?
Right.
Or,
No, I mean, in most cities,
A little bit, but I'm not licensed in
Right.
building codes. We use Bureau Veritas for
right,
all of that.
so we have the
That's a whole nother
inspectors,
topic
they're just
that I can't
paid
discuss
third party.
right now though, because we're actually not.
Okay.
well, I thought this was citizen, that's what I was just wondering.
So, okay, so citizens input, you're allowed to make a statement, but y'all aren't allowed to respond.
Yeah.
Okay. These are just questions, where do I go to get these questions?
However,
All right.
I need to ask a question.
All right, any other citizens input? All right, we'll move on to item number 11. We have a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
We have a motion by Cecilia,
I second.
second by Crystal, all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. We are adjourned at 7:36.
Well, when can we get this? On everything it answers for.
Just hold it till it's green light goes off.